Welcome, everybody, to the 5th episode of our podcast, now referred to as the Sadistic Pixel Podcast. Joining me to my right, as always, are Zach,
Hello.
John, and to the left, the unofficial Baldwin brother, Trevor.
Good to be here.
Now, today, we are here to discuss many different topics, gaming, nerdy culture, everything like we always do. We take our format from, of course, the Game Over Greggy show, so thank you, Mr. Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Nick Scarpino, and Tim Geddes. I love your stuff, and you're the biggest inspiration. Except the difference is, we don't have sponsors. No. We don't need those sponsors yet, so we're going to go right into it and start off with our first topic. And that, of course, is going to come from Mr. Trevor Baldwin.
Okay, everybody. So my topic for today is this past year, well, really since we've had the current gen consoles out, we've seen a lot of game remasters. Final Fantasy X. That was a big one that I played. What was a few?
GTA.
GTA. The Last of Us.
10-2.
10-2. Yeah, I always forget about that one, even though it came with 10.
Everyone forgets 10-2.
We've seen a lot of remasters.
Halo Master Chief
Collection.
Halo
Master
Chief.
Hello. Yeah, you're right. The Master Chief is here.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot. So I guess my question is, are all these remasters a good thing, a bad thing, or why? What do you think?
Man, I'm just gonna make you feel awkward.
That was so awkward.
Oh, all right. I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
The best game I played last year was The Last of Us Remastered, but I feel like that's a recurring thing because The Last of Us is my favorite game as always.
Yeah,
but my opinion on remastered games is that they are a good thing and a bad thing. I love remastered games if it's something from like the PlayStation 2 era, something like that. I don't mind that, but I really don't even mind when they're a year or two old, especially if they're from last gen consoles.
Yeah.
My opinion on the matter is when consoles like last year, both of them, I'm not singling one out, but the Xbox One, I should say both of them. There are 3 consoles. I forget. I'm sorry. The Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 relied on remasters way too much last year, and I don't like that because I like new experiences and
which it doesn't hurt to relive the old
no,
ones.
It doesn't.
Just when, like you said, when you're relying on it.
And I'm hoping that's going to die down this year, but I completely imagine that we're going to get more remasters announced at E3, and I mean, I know you two especially are excited about the Borderlands Handsome Jack collection,
absolutely.
right?
So by that day one, I love being able to play my older games on my PS4, like Borderlands 2. I can't wait to play that 60 frames per second, killing a Handsome Jack.
Hopefully don't drop frames when things get too real.
Exactly, yeah, when there's too many enemies on the screen. I hope they fit more enemies on the screen. But I love my remasters. Because it does allow me to play some games that I have never played before, like recently Majora's Mask. I never played that whenever I was younger. So being able to play that now on a platform that I love, like my 3DS, and with updated graphics, which is nice, doesn't make the game. It's a great game no matter what. But with all the tweaks that they made to it, it's cool. I like being able to do that. I think that there should be maybe a line on some games like, I can't even think of a good one off the top of my head. No, I can't. Maybe
like they did with GTA Remastered.
Maybe so, but I mean,
that's a brilliant move from Rockstar because they sold another 2 to 3 million copies.
Exactly, it helps no matter what. It's a good thing to do because it just came out on PS3. 2013 or 12. Yeah. So.
It wasn't too long.
Right, exactly.
It was exactly a
the
year.
PS4 came out right after. I mean, you knew it was going to happen.
Xbox 2 as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, I do it. I'm so bad about it.
It's okay.
I'm a PlayStation fanboy. I don't mean to. But yeah, no, I love my remastered games. I just hope that they stick with really good ones.
Well, my thing with that is I don't mind remastered games if it brings us something. Like, we're finally getting Type 0 HD, and I'm a big Final Fantasy dork, and the main reason I'm getting that, of course, is to play the Final Fantasy 15 demo. But it's cool because we've never gotten that over here, and I would love for them to do stuff like that with PSP games. Like this guy right here, if they did a Crisis Core
yeah, I'd be on
upgrade,
I would 24/7.
I would too. Even if they brought it to the PS4, I mean,
any system that they brought it to.
Exactly. It's just, I think there's a fine line between doing it with games that don't need for it to happen, and then there are games that it needs to happen. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. Kojima did it with the first 3 Metal Gear games. I mean, you had Metal Gear Solid 2 and the Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, and then you had Metal Gear Solid 3 and the Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, which Subsistence is what made Metal Gear Solid 3 a perfect game because it added that 3D camera and not that impossible overview camera that was such a pain. Well, especially in that jungle environment, it was crazy. I mean, but that's my opinion on the matter. I think there should be a fine line, but they don't bother me that much. I would like to see older games come forward, like PS2 era games that I missed out on, like Xenosaga, things like that.
Right.
He talks about Dark Cloud all the time. I would love to get a chance to play that.
And he remastered it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd play that in a heartbeat. Like, another thing is, are all remastered titles good? Like, I heard a while back, I've never played it, but like the Jak and Daxter for the Vita that they did, I heard it was really bad. So, like, I mean, I guess a remastered. Another big factor is, are they doing them right? Like, most of them are. Like
they
Final
are.
Fantasy X on.
Absolutely.
I haven't played the PS3. I played it on my PS3.
It played perfectly
And
well.
it played perfectly on the Vita as well. But
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm about to let you. He was talking about if they do it right, and I was just about to point out the Master Chief Collection, which was the biggest Xbox release last year, was done halfway right and halfway wrong. It didn't bother me at the time, but after I got done doing all the campaigns, it bothered me because 343, this is 2 things in a row where they've kind of dropped the ball, like with their 2 big releases. Halo 4 can be a completely different topic where I just yell at the camera for an hour. So I will not go off on that tangent. I agree with you. They need to be done right. So what do you guys think?
I mean, I think GTA was an awesome move, even if
absolutely. I don't
remember how much was The Last of Us Remastered. Wasn't it just 40?
It was 50, I think, wasn't it? When it first came out?
It was 40 or 50.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, you had to pay full price for GTA, but I still did it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's because, it was worth it, and we're still getting content still for that. So, I mean...
Heist.
Coming out
Come on,
next month.
Rockstar.
No, next month.
March
10th.
Was the release of the Heist.
For console Heist.
Yeah.
PC, GTA got pushed back again.
Yeah, they keep waving that little in front of the PC people, and they just keep doing it.
Yep.
But when it comes out, it's going to be the best looking GTA version. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, remasters need to happen for games that are called for it, I guess.
Absolutely.
Like, put a Skyrim on PS4, it's going to sell.
Absolutely.
But,
I mean, it's gonna sell her.
Or if you, I mean, just put like an Elder Scrolls collection on the PS4, Oblivion and Skyrim.
Probably don't want to mention Morrowind.
I wouldn't play Morrowind, but
I probably would.
I've played Morrowind before. It was pretty. I like it, but it's way different than the others.
Yeah.
But I mean, It depends on. They don't need to rely on remakes.
Right.
Like they did this year. They need to, focus on bringing out new content because you're not going to keep that fan base with old content.
It's amazing to me how well the PS4 is selling with like hardly any exclusives right now. So
I know.
I mean, and they've even had the Xbox One had a price drop, and the PS4 is still beating it in North America. So, what do you think? I mean, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, finally, the PlayStations are accessible to people with lower incomes.
They attacked that indie user base, and that was a very, very, very smart move. So, but Zach,
your turn.
Man of the hour.
I'm done.
All right, just to let everybody know, Zach doesn't feel too well right now, so everyone give him a round of applause for being here, feeling bad.
Yeah.
So.
That was me the last podcast when I had my cough drops and my... So I know your pain, brother.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now. In which, I agree that, the remasters are good and bad at the same time, because, how this past year we've kind of relied on the remasters, all the consoles have relied on them in a way, which I'd love to see some new IPs, which I figure this year we're going to get some new stuff and whatnot, but it's also good in the sense that, that we had them because we didn't have any games.
You're right.
Coming out. The remasters basically sold the consoles for a good while there, and then the indie games sold them too. Or sold themselves. I'm not sure how.
I mean, really, the only new IP in the fall was that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I know would Bayonetta 2 come out in the fall, or I guess winter.
I can't remember when Bayonetta 2 came out. I thought it was October or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, on the Xbox One they had Sunset Overdrive, and I feel like people have already forgotten about that game.
A little bit, yeah.
I
haven't heard
don't.
anything
I'm not
about
trying
it.
to be mean.
No, I'd still love to play it if I had the means to.
But
Yeah.
keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. It tries to get me gather myself up because I feel like crap. But it's also good in a sense for people who never got the chance to play those games in
Yeah.
the last year. Like some people who had a PS3, but for some reason didn't get The Last of Us or whatnot. They get to. You hear stories about people who get to relive who don't get to relive the experience, but are living it the first time. And people are jealous. of that.
Lucky.
I am
So
jealous of
lucky.
that.
Yeah, in which I hated it that how Rockstar did Grand Theft Auto, how they did full price whenever Last of Us was $10 cheaper, but I bought it anyway. They knew people would buy it.
Yeah, exactly. They knew.
Well, they know, their
Yeah.
fan base is going to buy it no matter what. I mean, it's just like reliving the experience, but in with a higher powered system.
Yeah.
I mean, both systems are like powerhouses now compared to last gen systems.
They are.
And with all the remasters, like how they've been doing, I haven't seen a remaster that was just a straight carbon copy. They've always added new stuff.
It's always been refreshed a little bit, and that's another thing is I think that they can keep some of they can keep you busy. I mean, you're waiting for the next big game to come out, and they release a game from the PS2 or the PS3, and it may be a game you love, it may be been a game you hate or something you never played, but it's something to keep you busy while you're waiting, and that's something I've enjoyed. I mean, like I say, I can't tell you how much I've gotten into Majora's Mask, and I've been beating myself up for never playing it when I was younger.
There's no reason to beat yourself up. I mean, it was
I agree.
So much younger. You were like 6 or 7 years old.
Well, yeah, I did play Ocarina of Time, however you want to pronounce it, a lot, and I can't believe I never played Majora's Mask.
Okay.
I mean,
it was a difficult game.
yeah, it was a hard game.
It still is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Remaster didn't turn the difficulty down.
Yeah.
But now back to your original question. Are you talking about HD collections, or are you talking about just HD remakes? Or are you talking about like remasters? Like are you talking about both? Like in your
I guess
question?
both. I mean, I've never really thought. I know there is a difference between the two words.
Because one of the most times I've ever been excited for a video game was when they announced the Metal Gear Solid HD collection back in early 2011, because I could go on and on about how big of a Metal Gear fan I am, but getting to play Metal Gear Solid 3 again was just so much fun, and I literally played that. I think that was like the collection was like the only thing I played for like 5 months, and it was just so much fun. Of course, that was back before it was like an excessive amount of them. Yeah. And then he did Zone of the Enders, which is a series I never played. I bought it, but I've never finished it, or never even played it. So I don't know. It's just part of it.
Still got the SRAM wrap around the
Yeah, it does. I even got the giant, awesome collector's edition
That's
that I will
awesome.
never open because I'm such a Kojima nerd. But,
That's awesome.
but I mean, it's back to what everyone's saying. It's a negative positive. I mean, it's a positive if you've never played them, or if you just love them so much you want to play them again. But it's a negative if that's the only thing the company's relying on.
Yep.
So.
Right.
Instead of using the money to get some new stuff out there for people who
Yeah.
want new things,
And-
instead of like, oh yeah, I liked that, but I don't see myself getting it again.
Right, and I guess it could be a way to buy the company time. Like, what does Square Enix do? They release a Final Fantasy once a year? Almost? Yeah, okay. So it's exactly what, I guess that's exactly what Type 0 is, So maybe 15 is not, it's a placeholder for 15, which I want them to take their time on it. Don't get me wrong.
But how bad is it eating you up
It's
inside?
killing me,
It's
and
killing me too.
I'm sure it won't come out until March of 2016, would you say?
My guess would be that, or I think a perfect time for it, and this is why I think Arkham Knight is going to sell so well. Companies should start taking more advantage of summertime. Like, there is usually nothing released between June and August, and I don't know why that is. They need to release Final Fantasy 15 in June. It'll sell well. Arkham Knight is going to sell so well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just because it's the only thing coming out, and because
people sticking at home, and, some people, a lot of people vacation. But, what about the people, there's a majority that don't, and they're going to be at home, replaying old games.
Yeah, not being outside, getting that sun. Yeah.
And students are out of school during that time. Like, that's the best time to play a game, Whenever you want to sit inside of your
Sit inside in the summertime.
Yeah.
Your air conditioning. Not
Thank
the
you.
winter time,
No.
like when it's
Yeah.
20 degrees outside and there's mountains of snow everywhere.
That's
Right.
the best time to run around outside.
But yeah. No, sorry. Go. What were you about
No,
to
I
say?
wasn't going to say anything. I just keep talking and talking and talking.
No, you're fine. Yeah, but no, I think that they're good, bad. Good. They got their
They're good, bad.
yeah, they're good, bad. They got
Good, bad.
they've got their positives and their negatives, just like anything else. I think if you're gonna make one, you should definitely take the time to make sure you're doing it justice. Like, I can say I've never played it, but I've heard a lot of bad things about the Jack and Daxter remaster. I've heard they've got bad frame drops.
I mean, Konami dropped the ball with that Silent Hill HD collection.
Yeah,
Like,
that's another big one.
they released a patch for it to where it would kind of work on the PS3, and they just didn't even do it for the 360.
That's what I've heard.
They
It was
didn't even.
bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
And Silent Hill 2 is probably the greatest survival horror game ever made.
And a lot
That's
of
different story.
A lot of people made, whenever they think of Silent Hill, they may think of the bad experience they had with buying that collection. So if you're gonna do it, make sure you're doing the game justice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Nintendo did. Good job, Nintendo. Sorry.
Nintendo's awesome at that.
Nintendo
Yeah.
never drops the ball
It's-
with that.
They're seriously so good and consistent. But they remind me like how Disney does the Disney Vault, where they'll like. And I was
Oh,
talking to
yeah.
him earlier about this, about how they'll take something away, and then they'll just bring it back. They did that with Donkey Kong Country this week, and no one even knows why that disappeared a couple years ago. I don't know if they had problems fighting with Rare over the franchise, but they just took it away from the Wii U or the Wii Virtual Console, and then this week they're just like, oh, here's all 3 Donkey Kong lands for the 3DS, and here's all Donkey Kong Country for the Wii U, and I'm like, why do you do this, Nintendo? And then I go buy all 6 titles. So
Yeah.
it's just.
So there you go.
Oh, why do
you
you
go.
do this, Nintendo? I mean, why?
Why do you
Of course,
keep
I
doing
want
this
to play
me?
Donkey Kong Country 2.
Absolutely.
The greatest platformer ever made. Not really, but it's good.
I love me some Donkey Kong.
Yeah, well, that's what happened there. So we're gonna go on to my topic. that might be our first T-shirt. I love me some Donkey
I
Kong.
I love me some Donkey Kong.
It's just my face looking terrible because I'm sick. It's like, I love me some Donkey Kong.
No, but my topic kind of leans on Trevor's, and in a sense, my question is, we all have our own little games that we all hold near and dear to our hearts. What type of game would you like a sequel to that you don't think will ever get a sequel, or even a remaster? If they just not a remaster, a remake, like a complete overhaul with the same story, maybe a little different to it, and I'm not talking about games that haven't officially been announced. Like I'm not like Fallout 4 hasn't officially been announced,
But it's going to.
but it is going to get announced, and I don't know. Just do you guys get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so what type of games?
Do you you're saying we have these games that we want something made, but
A new sequel.
Are you saying that we have to pick a game that we don't think will ever get a sequel or another title in it?
Well,
Yeah,
nothing. Okay, I guess that's a tough question because I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, even
I know what Trevor's answer should be.
I know
Because
do you think there's going to be a sequel to that?
because my title is of course going to be I want a Dark Cloud 3, but can I not pick it because I don't see it happening?
No, you can pick it.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Like I didn't understand it 100%.
It's got to have a low percentage chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
There
a
you
low
go.
percentage chance.
There we
Okay.
go.
Well, I like to believe that Dark Cloud
It's gonna-
3 has a high percentage chance of happening because there's still a lot of people that love those games, and I would love to see an HD collection for. I could see them knocking out 1 because 1 was kind of. I mean, it was pretty much an awful game. I mean, there was a lot of spelling errors in the game. Even it was just one of those games that felt like it was thrown together. But I love it so much that I would still play it to this day. It's aged terribly. It
Yeah.
doesn't look good, but I love this
holds
game.
a place in your heart, right?
Dark Cloud 2 still holds up pretty well. The gameplay has aged great, I think. It's got cell shading, so it's a pretty game.
So when level 5 is like, here's our new game, Dark Cloud. No,
Yeah,
Nino
Nino
Kuni
Kuni
2.
Yeah, see, I'm hoping there is going to be a panel with them at E3, and nobody I'm hoping it's Dark Cloud 3. That is my 100% choice.
There are a lot of people who want that.
Yeah, The game was so good. So that is definitely my choice of what I want next.
Well, like, why do you like Dark Cloud so much?
They're just a really good. I guess it's an action RPG more than anything. I don't know. I mean, the stories aren't necessarily anything to write home about, but it was the game that I put the most time into whenever I was a child. So yeah, it is nostalgic for me.
But maybe that's good nostalgia.
Yeah, it was. It takes me back almost, and that's something that that means a lot to me now. And when you grow up, it's nice to have something that you can sit down and think about or play and say, man, I feel like I'm 10 years old again, because that means a lot, whenever life hits you. But no, they're great games. Like I say, story. I mean, it's not like Naughty Dog level dialogue.
There are a lot of games that are on Naughty Dog's levels.
Right. Well, but I mean, this one is not. I agree with, and I will gladly admit that. But they're just a fun game. I think there was more that they could do with it. I mean, it's not like Kingdom Hearts where everyone is begging for it, or everyone was begging for it. It's probably been 10 years since. Okay,
my thing with Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Because I have this discussion with a lot of people, and this guy will back me up. There has not been a Kingdom Hearts console game in a while, but this is a mistake Nomura made, was making these like Kingdom Hearts handheld games that were like a necessity. It's like. Yeah. Like you have to almost play them to understand the story, don't you?
Dream Drop Distance was the big one because it brought everything together.
Yeah.
Like, it just cleared up so many questions.
Yeah,
I mean, lead straight into the third game.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Kingdom Hearts, we knew 3 would eventually come, but
right.
I mean, your game, that's a good game.
It ended where it ended, but I still feel like there was more they could do. I don't know. I rambled on about it.
No, it's not. I was just trying to give these two time to pick a game.
Right, yeah, and I apologize.
Don't apologize. It's your podcast.
Well, no. It's all of our podcasts.
No, Trevor.
Justin.
You hired us.
You're right.
To be your friends and talk about stuff.
I hired them. None of these people actually.
The minute this is over with, we just walk out the door and just leave Trevor alone.
And I sit here all week.
That's exactly what it does.
I turn it to stone.
See you next week.
And then they come back next week, and then I rematerialize. Anyway, it's a great game. It has its niche crowd. They're great games. I would love to see a third one made.
It will.
And I hope Level 5 decides to do it. And if they go with Ni no Kuni 2, that's great. I know a lot of people like Ni no Kuni.
What were your thoughts on Ni no Kuni 1? You didn't need no Kuni, did you?
No, you're right. I did not need it. It was a beautiful game, and I wished I got more into it. It just didn't really seem to be my cup of tea. Yeah. They did something kind of similar with White Knight Chronicles. Has anybody ever played White Knight Chronicles?
I tried it. I didn't
okay. Well, the game was awful, but there was one aspect of White Knight Chronicles that I liked, and it was the online.
Yeah.
They had where you could build a city, your own town. You could build a town just like in Dark Cloud, which is what you do in Dark Cloud. You build the towns back, and I liked that. But the game was just terrible. So anyway.
Well, speaking of cups of tea, Zach, what would be your cup of tea?
I couldn't tell you a sequel that I want because all the.
It doesn't have to be a sequel. It could be just a.
Like I was trying to think of a game that I would like to see a sequel for, but most of them have already been either confirmed or they're gonna be confirmed. What I would like to see is, and I know it's already been remastered once. I'd like to Metal Gear Solid. But
I knew it.
Not Twin Snakes. I heard Twin Snakes was like I've seen videos of Twin Snakes.
Have you never played it before?
I've never played Twin Snakes. I didn't have a GameCube.
Well,
I think that was the only thing that came
I feel
out
sorry
of it.
for you. Twin Snakes was a okay game, like where it was broken because you could go to first person mode and pretty much beat any boss just like that. I mean, it was a lot easier, but it was done really well. The voice acting isn't as good, but that was David Hayter. Like actually, from what I understand, this is Ben from Sadistic Pixel, our fellow friend, told me that I think David Hayter actually paid like for new dialogue to be recorded. So I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm sorry. I got excited because I knew he was going to say Metal Gear.
I figured if anyone would appreciate it, Justin definitely appreciate it.
Well, John would too.
Yeah, John would appreciate it too.
I love me some Metal Gear Solid.
Well, you can talk about your Dark Cloud, Ni no Kuni, and White Knight Chronicles. So.
Dark shit 3.
Like, oh my god. It's a dark cloud in my head when I think about it. But I would like to see.
I like that cymbal noise he just did there at the end too.
Yeah, that was good.
But I can do that good when I'm sick. I would like to see a remastered of that. Just stick straight to how it originally was, not do what you did with Twin Snakes. But I know Kojima has always said he would like it to be done, but he just doesn't want to do it himself. I guess the time constraint, how he's working all these other projects, I can understand it.
Silent Hills.
Silent Hill is definitely a big one.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, that Metal Gear Solid 5 game too, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, what's that?
I hate it when he posts pictures of it. It's a little off tangent. I hate when he posts pictures of it because it makes me want it more.
Or what about all the food pictures he posts?
all those burgers. He loves some burgers.
Yeah, I love Kojima.
But
I'm sorry, Zach.
before we get too off on a tangent with that, third time I said I'd love to see an actual remake of that sticks to the code, sticks to the original, what it is.
So like Overhead.
Yeah, overhead. I would like if they did what they did with Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. You can have a choice between either the overhead or do the 3D camera, and not break it to where you can just go to first person. And
Would you guys want upgraded graphics for it, or just like a
that's what he's talking about. Or like they're gonna do with Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
They're
gonna take that game to a whole new level.
We're adding trophies.
Yeah,
that's it.
Unfortunately, that's enough for me.
I might get it too. Who knows?
But yeah, I would like it if they did with it, just updated graphics, and did how they did with Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. The camera controls, you could switch between the ones you want.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine that the area design would be a lot better too.
Oh, I'm sure.
If they made it kind of like how with Ground Zero's engine, you can just go just about everywhere pretty easily. That'd be really awesome for Shadow Moses.
It would be so good.
But yeah, out of all the games, that's the one I could think of. CGS. John, how about you?
Are you gonna back him up?
Well, I mean, yeah.
I know you want Metal Gear, but what?
I would like that Metal Gear. I would also like if they did a remaster of Crisis Core.
That's
now
awesome.
you put that because now you put that in my head.
That's a really good one.
I had a feeling you were going to say Crisis
Yeah.
Core.
That's awesome. I
That
would
is a
love
good
that.
one. I love Crisis Core.
Yep. Except for that NGO fight, but I figured out how to beat him pretty well in my last playthrough, so that wouldn't be as hard. But I love that game. You got me thinking about remaking some Crisis Core.
The best Final Fantasy game made since Final Fantasy X.
I love Crisis Core. That's my pick for sure. Just like you don't even have to revamp the graphics that much. I mean,
it was a beautiful game.
Especially that scene with Angeal.
I don't know
Genesis
how they
and-
got the CGI to run on the PSP like that.
It ran so good.
It's insane.
Well, would you want anything like? Would you have anything that you had a gripe with back in the day? Like anything that you would add on?
To me, that game was next to perfect. I love that game so much.
I mean, is there anything you can think of that you would have added to it, like that would make it even better? Like I don't know. I mean, you spent more time with it than I did. I've never actually even beaten it. I know what happens at the end, but is there anything that you would do differently with it?
I can't really think of anything. Do you?
You two would be better off discussing this because I didn't play Crisis Core for the first time until last year, and I was like mad at myself that I had never played it that much earlier because it was really good.
If they remade it for like the PS4,
I just thought of something. Go ahead.
If they remade it for the PS4, and just if they wanted to do like just that, kind of like how they're doing with Type 0, how they're bringing it over to a console, I would like if they used all the CGI they used in the big Sephiroth, and I would like if that whole game looked like that.
Oh,
It'd be
yeah.
really probably taxing to do that for it, but I figured they could probably pull that off.
That would be awesome, though. I would like it if they at the main menu they had where you can go back and watch the cutscenes, where I could just watch that cutscene over and over again.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, I had to save right before I walked up to Sephiroth, where I could turn my PSP off, turn it back on, and walk up with Sephiroth again. Oh
Makes
my
different
gosh.
save files so I could see different cutscenes.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. It's a good
game,
pick.
though.
It's a great game. Kind of made me want to play it again, to be honest with you.
You should.
I think I might do that. I have a UMD copy of that still. I don't know where it's at, though.
Old school.
Yeah.
That is old school.
Justin?
Me?
You.
My topic. I'm gonna get really old school here and go out of the blue and because hardly anyone's ever played this game. It's another Kojima game. It's called Police Knots.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I say Kojima, new Police Knots.
I've been talking about this game for I feel like a million years, and let me explain to you what Police Knots is. It is an interactive drama that Kojima did, in thinking like 1994, released on a bunch of random computer. Those weird consoles they did over there. It never came out over here. They worked on an English translation to release on the Sega Saturn, but it never happened. It's almost like a point and click, like movie type deal. But my thing is, if they did a remake, and since the Fox engine seems to love open world games, well, Police Knots takes place in the future. Like, it's about this guy who, like, works on this outer colony that's just just gets created. I think his name's like Jonathan Ingram, and he's this astronaut who goes out into space. He's like a police knot. Like there's 5 of them, and he gets his cord or tether gets cut, and he gets lost in space for I don't know, like 20 years, and he doesn't age. And like he wakes up, and he's like this old school cop in this new world, and I think it's called like Neo Tokyo or something like that. Yeah. And I just think it would be amazing to have an open world game set in like a Neo Tokyo. That's like almost like LA Noire, and you're just like walking around like solving cases, and just think how beautiful that game would be.
That would be cool.
This open world game, just solving cases, because like at the beginning of the game you're in his office, and you're like, because it's a very talky game, of course it's Kojima, and he's just like listening to all these different cases that really have nothing to do with the story. And I'm just sitting there like, man, this would be so good, like to do a side quest.
Yeah.
And eventually you could like travel to the outer colony. It just.
That would be cool.
Just solve cases, and I don't know, like an old school guy in a new world, like because he still likes to smoke like old school cigarettes in the game, and of course I guess now it'd be like e-cigarettes, but in that they smoke like these special type of cigarettes. And I remember he's like, I don't like these because they don't give you that same feeling, and it's so good. I mean, I thought the story was pretty good. I mean, the story's about his ex-wife who has moved on to this new guy's. Her husband gets kidnapped, and Jonathan, he's now a PI, and she comes to him asking for help, and like literally after she leaves the office, she gets murdered, and that's what sets him on his course. And it kind of has ties to Metal Gear, because how like the bionic people like bleed like white.
Yeah.
Like they I don't know. I just know Kojima could pull it off. Will it happen? That game, Dark Cloud 3 has a better chance of happening than Police Knots. I would love for that to happen. Like, if besides my idea for that Naughty Dog game, would be what I would want to do, is make a Police Knots remake.
That'd be awesome.
I bet that it would be. Because I've never played it, but you're the only person I've ever heard talk about it. And from what I've heard, I mean, I know how Kojima is with his little Easter eggs and hiding stuff.
No, it's called trolling, and he's the best at it.
Yeah. I feel like that type of game would be awesome for Kojima to do. Like, well, I mean, he's done it, but like a new.
Well, the older one's more just like an interactive drama. I would love for this to just be an open world game with almost the same story, but add it lot more added to it.
Yeah, just like I know what you mean. Just take the world from the past game and make a completely new game around it, but same story.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's why I'm hoping with Silent Hills, because I think Silent Hills, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is gonna be an open world game.
Oh,
yeah.
First person mode will be integrated into it somehow. I think.
It has to be. After PT, oh my gosh.
I don't know how to feel about that, because I love the old school third person view, and I know Zach and I have talked about it. Was a Silent Hill 4, the room where half of it's like when you're inside, it's first person. I never played it, so.
In Silent Hill 4, when you're in the apartment, which is basically how you navigate to the other areas of the game, you're in first person the whole time, but once you're out of it, you're in third person.
That'd be interesting, and I bet that's what they do.
I feel like that's how they would do it.
How was that game? How was that demo one of the best games to come out last year?
It was just so different.
I know. I mean, that was how a demo should be. I mean,
Kojima's very old school, and he's about the last one left who does that stuff. I feel like he's one of the few Japanese developers that still gets it and knows how to deliver in the West. I mean, he's got a bigger fan base in the West. So.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, so to go back over, Dark Cloud 3, a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, Crisis Core
Crisis
remake,
Core.
and Police Knots for me. So, we're going to move on to old John Boy here. John, batter up.
So,
What's your topic?
well, you know,
John,
last week.
you can go now.
Well, you know, actually, I believe it was Thursday that big picture blew up on the internet with the dress. What color
I
is
don't
it?
know. What
Yeah,
picture
you
are you
don't know.
talking about?
What dress?
What dress?
I
You
don't
know, the
wear-
one that's blue and black?
Oh, yeah, the one that's blue and black.
Yeah. One it's white gold.
No.
I feel like it's blue and black.
Yeah,
I want to say blue and black.
Definitely blue and black.
Well,
I'll have a picture of it like floating above us.
yeah. Well,
Right
actually,
here.
it did turn out that it is actually blue and black. I
Yep.
don't know if y'all saw that article I sent you, but
Yep.
technically, realistically, blue and black.
Scientifically proven.
Yeah, sign.
But people saw it as white and gold.
Yeah, which I mean, I won't go into my psychology knowledge of this, but it's your brain reacting to.
Yeah, so does
Yeah.
that mean the way I see red?
It, well,
Okay,
don't
no,
compare it to me
this-
because
Okay,
I can't see red.
but this is you can explain it to me. The way I see the color red might be the way somebody else sees the color orange.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily know. They haven't done tests like that.
I know,
but
but
it's like
that's-
your brain your brain is like. There's a picture that I saw where it's a block that's kind of like this and that. Like they've been like
It's like
that.
Pac-Man?
Yeah, kind of like an
Okay.
open Pac-Man. The top one looks gray, and the bottom one looks white. And but it turns out they're both the same color, or the top one's white and the bottom one's gray, and they're the same color. And the reason that is because your brain thinks one's gonna have the light directly shining, the other one's gonna be in like a
Yeah.
shadow. So like the way your brain perceives things is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it puts things in like the sight between your nose right here, like this much of your
It ignores it.
vision is actually gone, and your brain just puts it in there.
Yeah.
Like you don't really.
That is crazy.
None of it's real. Like me looking forward right now, my brain is putting in like that part of the curtain right there.
And now that I think about it, I see my nose.
Yep.
What's really cool about this topic is there's two sides of it, because this is like the side where you think about where, like, I guess what would you call it, the
Well,
psychology
yeah,
side, like where your brain, the way your brain perceives colors, is something that I feel like, well, you three may know more about it than I do, but like Zach and I, who've had a lot of teachings of the way cameras work, can understand a different side of it, because the way that picture was taken was there was too much exposure on the camera's exposure was turned up too high, which means it lets more light in, so the white balance was off on the camera, and that can make, like you said, people's eyes perceive things differently than other people will. Sorry, Justin.
Well, let me. That was just kind of an overview. My question is actually, how do things like that on the internet get so
Okay,
popular? Didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, you're right. Our eyes work the same way.
Well, yeah.
Like the more light you need, the wider.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I thought that was so interesting, because there was two different sides of that. Like, with somebody took that picture of that dress knowing they were going to piss people off.
Oh yeah.
Because they knew it. I feel like, I don't feel like that picture was taken by accident. Maybe it was, but I don't know anything about it. I don't even know who wore the dress. But anyway, yes.
I don't either. I don't.
Sorry. to break
Everybody
off
was
into
like,
that.
"Have you seen the dress?" And it's like,
Yeah.
Dress what?
I saw it like
I
right
was-
before you sent me the picture.
I feel
of it.
bad because I texted you guys.
No, what happened was
I'm
after
that
you
guy.
text me, I got I saw it on Facebook and I was like, I don't see what the big deal is. I saw like the 3 different pictures of where it looked different. And then I got a text from you, and I saw the blue and black.
Well, I just felt
And
bad
then-
because I was interrupting your eating session at Mary's Kitchen.
No, I was just
No.
we were just sitting there at the moment. But
Mary's Kitchen is this amazing diner.
it's like
I hope it's
It's
still
like a
amazing.
homemade-
Yeah, it was good.
it was like it's a
It
what
makes
would
you
call
proud
it?
to
Like
be
a
from
mom
the
and
South.
pop diner.
Yeah.
you
Makes
know?
you proud to be from the South.
Exactly. There's
My-
a lot of grease.
I got a smothered breakfast, and my food was cold, and I wasn't even mad because it's Mary's, But
Anyway, back on topic.
But
Sorry.
after that, I got like everybody's like the dress,
Yeah.
and the next day it was still like that. But what did y'all think? And then I'll tell you what I think.
So the question is, how do things like that just blow up on the internet? I have no clue. I don't understand how some of the things that, like, some stuff is so stupid to me.
Because people are mindless idiots, Trevor,
Yeah.
and because they can't form their own opinions.
You're
and
right.
Except for our viewers, because they're all awesome.
yeah, I'm just talking. I'm not saying. I'm generalizing.
Yeah. I
People,
know what you
people
mean.
get
I'm
on
just-
social media, and this is why opinions take, like, oh my god, this is
They snowball.
This
into
goes
something.
back to the way I feel about the way the Order 1886 has been reviewed.
Exactly.
Like,
Yep,
people
go
can't
for
form
it.
their own opinions because I feel like this is. I promise I'm gonna bring this back. You just gotta let
just
me
go
reach
for
out
it.
there
Trust
for a
you,
little
Justin.
bit.
Go for it.
People can't form their own. With the Order 1886, it had so much negativity behind it before it came out that I feel like everybody's like, well, we can't be that different of a person.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like, oh my god, you two have played it. The quick time events are not that bad in the
No.
game at all. I mean, they're there, but they're not that bad. But anyway, people can't form their opinions, so they go with the crowd. This goes back to the way politics are, and just anything else that gets put on the internet. People have an opinion one way or the other, and then these two groups form, and this is a perfect example with the dress, and then they butt heads, and then you're just like, why is this getting talked about? There are so many more things that need to be discussed.
Yeah.
Like, it was getting discussed more than Leonard Nimoy getting passing
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was Spock. I mean,
I
there
know.
will never be
They're
th-
not another
that-
Spock.
Well, there is, but
But
not like
Not like him.
Not like him. I mean, Leonard Nimoy,
Yeah.
who is integrated into science fiction culture, was getting talked over because of a dress.
I know.
Because of a dress. It's just like, it's just like. Like, who was it, Kanye West or Jay-Z that did something with Paul McCartney? And
Kanye
then,
and all-
Kanye.
and-
No one knew who Paul McCartney was.
Oh
And
my
it's-
God.
All the
Gosh, yeah, I
Kanye
saw
fans
that.
didn't know who
And
Paul
I'm just
McCartney
like-
was.
Like, this guy Paul McCartney's about to blow up thanks to Kanye.
It's just like,
No, he isn't.
it's just like, people can't form their opinions, and it's just like when someone sees something, instead of just doing the brave thing and not living in the box, they got to go in the box with that person
Yeah.
and form their opinion. Just they can't be outside the box. I don't know. It's the internet. How can you explain the internet?
Love it, but you hate
I'm
it.
being that old man of the group right now, and Zach,
Let
Which-
me.
I feel it inside of you. You're
I've got-
about to let it
I've
out.
got some things.
I
which,
can't wait to hear it.
which this
right now.
I'll
Don't have
go,
words.
I'm going back to the black and blue, gold and white thing, but like whenever you talk about the order and how everyone's giving it a bunch of crap about the QTEs and whatnot,
Yeah.
and cinematics, but you gotta think like it's. Sorry about that. Move the table. It's The Walking Dead is the exact same thing. It's mostly cinematics and QTEs and whatnot, and that got like such great reviews. So how is the order any different?
Hold on right there. What did I tell you the order was right before the show started?
AAA Telltale game.
With beautiful graphics.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
That's
gorgeous.
funny.
though.
That's
Oh,
good,
yeah.
Zach. That was
Yeah, that was-
awesome that you
go ahead.
mentioned
I
that.
mean, it's like the thing is like, all right, Walking Dead, cinematics, QTEs, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Order, 2 out of 10.
Yeah. There's no way that, and this is why I hate review scores. And this is just I guess, thank you for creating this tangent topic, John, because I can go off for a while. There's no way that game deserves that low. I don't think it's anything mind-blowing, but it's not bad.
Yeah, like how you said it's got its problems. I can see some of the problems with it.
Yeah,
I can see the
absolutely.
problems with it, but I don't think it's a bad game.
No.
I think it at least deserves like a 6 or a 7, or like it's not like you said, not mind blowing, but I've enjoyed it so far. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm almost to the end of the game, and like I don't have the only complaint is like it is kind of mindless to be shooting the same thing, and like
It is.
the same thing kind of happens every time you get into a gunfight. Like a million enemies pour out of everywhere,
do. But I'm going to wrangle that back. Why do these things get so big on the internet, Zach?
I think it's because people want to latch onto something and not think about what's going wrong with the world. I mean, all the stuff about ISIS, you hear occasionally about what happens with it.
well,
but
when
now-
they do something
Yeah,
ridiculous,
when they
you
do
hear
something
about it,
crazy,
but-
you'll hear about it. But I think a lot of people just don't want to think about stuff like that. Like whenever the whole 2 llamas escaped, then the dress and whatnot, people were just latched onto that.
You think it's because the internet or just news in general is so like almost, and I'm not trying to diss anybody like with it at all. You think it's like the news almost ADD, where they just like they can't stay on one topic long enough, or they either do that, or it's like with the Malaysia flight where they just spread it out.
I think with the news, you have to have something that's going to get people to watch.
Yeah.
And so you have to pick up ridiculous stuff. You have to pick up stuff that somebody's going to watch, and you get those sob stories all the time on the news. Like last night, which good for them, but last night there was a man that has stage 4 cancer that they did a pre-walk.
You're happy he has stage 4 cancer, John?
What?
Just kidding.
What?
You got stage 4 cancer.
You're like,
good for you.
And this is good for him. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's good that he got to walk his daughter down the aisle.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding, everybody.
Good for him, stage 4.
I'm just kidding. John does not hate people with cancer.
No, I don't. I feel bad for him.
No.
But like he got to walk his daughter down the aisle like a couple months early because he might not be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they play this story, but there's other stuff happening in the world. I mean, good. Put it on your website. Like we have a very like heart-tugging story on our website. Go check that out. But there's other stuff that they could be talking about when they're playing like, But instead they talk about somebody who got shot or like not even real world problems.
Yeah, well, that's just what this is all going back to your original topic. I just wonder, is it that the news or just everything, there's just such an ADD mentality with the internet?
I would have to say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to keep up, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the way they think of it.
Like, I feel like this whole dress thing is probably going to last a couple more days, and then it's just going
Well, it's already sort of mellowing out now.
It'll be like 2 years from now. We'll be like, you remember that stupid dress thing? I'll be like,
yeah, what?
What?
Dress thing?
What?
oh,
people
yeah.
will forget about it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that's happening now. Like, it's black and blue. It's gold and white. Oh,
Yeah.
it's everything.
And
that.
it's so ridiculous how much it explodes. Like, I have another example.
Like a volcano.
Well, yeah, exactly, like a volcano. But I have another
Or Diet
example,
Coke.
or Diet Coke with a Mentos in it. Yeah. Or is it Mento? Or
Mentos.
Mentos?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Mentos.
Anyway, but
Doesn't matter. You
like,
said it both
the
ways,
dress,
Trevor.
the dress exploded yesterday. Not literally exploded, but
It should have.
the picture exploded. And I mean, there was already a dress Twitter account and everything.
Props to that person jumping on that.
You're like, why does that happen? And why don't I think about doing that for one?
Those parody accounts.
I know. And like,
Yes.
it takes no time for something to blow up like that. And it's amazing how fast everyone's connected like that.
Yeah.
And like another argument that, you mentioned, like people just latching on to something, they want to pick sides, and this is because this one pertains to me, is boneless against bone-in chicken wings, and like there's like Team Bone and what Team Boneless.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just that was another.
Is that like a major thing?
It is. Have
Wow.
you ever? It really is.
You know how out of touch with social media I am.
Yeah,
so
there's
don't.
Team Bone and Team Boneless. I mean, I don't think there's gang wars going on over it that I know of.
Yo, what you got?
Yeah.
I mean, I do argue for Team Bone because I like my chicken wing bone in.
I like
But
boneless
that's
ones.
just another random. That's just another random thing that just blows up on the internet. Like it's just.
All right, on the chicken wing thing, I'm gonna say bone in chicken. The chicken tastes better, but I prefer boneless because you get more of it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean that's
Sorry.
the thing. I don't dislike bone chicken because there's a bone in there.
Yeah.
And everything. It does have more flavor. I agree with that. I just like it more.
Yeah.
And if you guys would like to see Trevor eat chicken wings from his favorite place, Wingstop, let us know in the comments below.
I mean,
Right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where are we pointing at?
I'll be happy. I'll be happy to take a video of me eating chicken
This guy
wings.
can eat chicken wings.
We can put them down.
Greg Miller, accept his challenge.
Greg,
But anyway,
I'm coming to San Francisco, June 24th.
why don't you rub it in our
See you
face,
there.
right?
Jeez.
Oh, what a
Oh,
good
man.
friend you
Just
are.
post a picture of your tickets for it.
Yeah.
Show, like, what got
So,
'em.
so basically, we're on, I guess, an agreement that
People are ignorant and will believe anything.
people just need to learn to form their own opinions,
Yeah.
and that memes, we really just don't understand how memes take off.
No. And
And props to the person that gets those memes going.
well, and the thing, what you said, people will believe anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely anything.
No.
I swear, if I said the sky right now is green, somebody will believe it, and somebody will not believe it and they'll argue about it.
And then two
You know?
groups will form,
And then-
like that. And then
Yeah.
like,
Somebody's
See
eyes
the
may
green
see the
sky.
sky's green.
But like, I don't, people, like you said, form your own opinion and don't just go with.
The flow.
Yeah, don't-
unless that's what you want to do. But
But then how can you be your own person?
you can't. Everyone should be their own person. Everyone should make themselves happy. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you should do. And that's why I am going to make Zach happy right now by
Zach's a
messing up this outro so
yeah,
bad.
you're right. It made me happy.
Yeah, see? I did that just for you, Zach. But Zach, please, once and for all, give us your topic, Zach. Please.
I will. I will do this for you since
Thank
you made
you.
me happy.
Because I
My
can't
topic.
speak correctly.
My topic.
Zach, please, give us your topic.
My
Topic.
topic is. My topic is, what is your favorite genre, and then what is also your least favorite genre? And by genre, I mean RPGs, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, MMO, just stuff like that, and why.
Usually, after our last podcast, Trevor and I, we had to cool off.
Yeah.
We almost got into that fist fight that you two separated us with.
That's actually why we didn't have a podcast last week. 'cause-
We broke the camera.
yeah.
This is a new camera.
But I feel like Trevor and I are going to be in agreement on this one. And I'm going to go first. Is that okay with you?
Oh, that's fine.
My favorite genre is the RPG. 10 years ago I would have said the JRPG, but I think Western RPGs are better now with
Yeah, they've
games like
improved a lot.
Bethesda and BioWare. Now, I'm not crazy about first-person shooters, but I love Halo. And BioShock, so good. So I'm going to be that one guy and make everybody mad and tell them how much Candy Crush sucks.
Yes.
Candy Crush is a puzzle game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Puzzle games are my least favorite. That's
Yep.
You don't even have to ask me because Justin just summed up my favorite and least favorite.
RPGs and puzzle games.
Oh yeah, I hate puzzle games. My mom loves them though.
yeah. It's
Shout
they
out to
got
mommy.
they got like a niche and like
Yeah.
they just
There's
developers smart.
There's
but
an awesome video that the game theorist does that talks about why puzzle games are so addictive. We might link that below. Just a shout out,
all this stuff we're saying, it's not gonna happen.
Never.
We're never gonna link anything to anything. We're the amateur cast.
You're sticking with us.
You're staying with us.
you ain't going nowhere.
Actually, we're just kidding. We want you guys to grow with us. We're
Right.
trying to grow and learn. This guy has some great ideas. This guy has some great ideas. And this guy right here.
That's some bad ideas.
No, he has some great ideas. This is just like a little tangent. You guys should stick with us
Yeah.
as we grow and we keep talking about our favorite and least favorite genres.
Trevor?
RPGs all the way because I can pick up an RPG and
I could do it.
I can play it by myself and do what I want to, get lost in a huge world for hours.
High five for
on-
introverted.
Yes. I was going to say something there, but I'm going to move on. Because I can get lost in a beautiful world.
With the
And
words and
exactly. And I love my Skyrim and I love my Oblivion more. And I know I just wanted to stir up Justin.
No,
a
I'm
little bit.
fine. He's not going to stir me up.
I also agree that I am not the biggest first-person shooter fan, but I can't say they're my least favorite because my favorite game, well, one of them, is a first-person shooter RPG, and that's Borderlands. So I can't sit here and say I don't like first-person shooters because I do. They're not, Call of Duty's not my niche, if any of you have watched.
That's been
before.
like our popular word of the day, hasn't
it
it?
has been.
not contradictions.
Yeah. So I guess my least favorite type of game would. I hate to say it, but I also don't like puzzle games because I'm not good at them. But that's hard to say because I'm not saying I don't like puzzles in games.
No,
I love
Zelda. and
yeah,
things
I'm
like
about to say
that.
I love Zelda how it incorporates puzzles into.
But I
its-
would rather sit there for 8 hours playing Skyrim than sit there for 2 hours on a phone playing
Exactly.
And can
puzzle
I
game.
match these candies together?
Yeah, and I watched a video a while
That's
back.
how I
agree.
that's how I would do
I
that.
watched a video a while back of Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. Like he is Tetris Jesus.
Okay. Oh, pet puzzle games. I do love me some Tetris.
I say I'm not a big fan of Tetris.
I forgot about
But
Tetris.
This
Tetris-
guy,
Tetris
I mean, he,
is-
It's above puzzle
he's
games.
Tetris Jesus. I mean, literally. And I could not sit there and play Tetris all the time. Like I never.
No,
Not
like-
that Tetris is a bad game. I mean,
I'm like,
just not a
I'm
huge
the type
fan.
of person where I'll play like 2 games, and when I mess up, I'm done.
Right. Now, I don't know if you consider. No. What does everyone know what Super Hexagon is here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a puzzle game? Would you
No.
say no? I mean, it's more of
I would
an
not consider it a puzzle
fast avoidance type. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a
Avoidance
genre you can
simulator.
put Super Hexagon.
Yeah.
It's like its own thing.
Yeah. Okay. I was just thinking about that. I didn't want that to be because I got to give props to Terry Kavanaugh because that game took way more hours of my life than it should have. So I just wanted to show. But no, that's RPGs because I can get into a world and just be someone totally different and forget about life for a little while and just live its own little fantasy. And that's my big thing about RPGs. And like I say, puzzles are probably my number one down.
See, I can't wait to hear Zach's opinion because I think Zach like has the biggest diverse opinions of all of us, and I'm not saying that's a good thing.
RPG, isn't it?
I like me some JRPGs, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's up there though. I would have to say, like, and I like puzzle games too, but not simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Games. Like puzzle games like The Room. I love The Room. It's so
Okay,
good.
yeah, that's a good one.
They're like
Yeah.
complicated stuff.
That
Makes you
is-
really think.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, let me match this. And
Yep.
which Tetris also is.
I guess like Portal would be a puzzle game too. wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Forget about
that's a
that
good
stuff.
game. Gosh, dang it.
But I guess like it's hard to just pick one game and
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry,
But
Zach.
my favorite genre probably have to be first-person shooter. I mean, it's simple. I know that, but that was the game. That's the first games I ever played were
Yeah.
first-person shooters. Like Call of Duty 3 was, I think what it was. Not Call of Duty 3. It was Call of Duty Medal of Honor. Not Call of Duty. It was Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Medal of Honor.
Call of Duty Medal of
I was
Honor.
about to say Call of Duty, man. You're making me feel really old when my first person shooter was like Wolfenstein 3D on the DOS system.
Medal of Honor was my first game that I ever
Yeah.
really played, and it was first-person shooter. So that got me into first-person shooters.
Which Medal of Honor was it? Frontline?
I think so.
And the best D-Day level in
Oh, I
history.
loved it. That D-Day level was made me rage, but it
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah.
You surprised me just now, Zach. I was really expecting you to say visual novels, to be honest with you.
I like
that
that
type of game.
I like visual novels, but I don't play them enough to be considered
Right.
my favorite. It's one of those things like it's kind of like it's a book, so you got to be in the mood to play
Yeah.
it.
Every
But-
time I talk about a visual novel, I've always asked you about it. You're like, yeah, I've played that one, or like that one that like
I've played
4chan
few.
made or something.
Oh yeah, that's.
But anyway, that was off topic. That
But-
just surprised me.
There's a lot of genres that I like, but just first person shooter
Yeah, that
is
should
the
always
first
be your
genre I
number
really
one.
played. So it's got a special place.
Yeah, I understand that.
And the genre I'd probably like the most is racing.
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 Okay, dislike. Okay.
Dislike the most.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm not saying that all racing games are bad. I love Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And Need for Speed Underground was my favorite racing game. Just there's some racing games that I just cannot enjoy.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like whenever someone has, oh, here's a racing game, I'm like,
Yeah.
I like my racer games to be arcadey, like Mario Kart,
Yeah.
Burnout,
arcade
things like
racing
that.
games are fun.
But like Forza and Gran Turismo,
Gran Turismo was one of the few
Do you-
non-arcade racing games that I liked.
Well, my thing with like
I
those
love Gran
games.
Turismo.
dude.
Yeah,
That's-
see,
I mean, there's nothing wrong.
I'm not a
with it.
big car guy either, and like with Gran Turismo, I don't know about Forza.
He's a little car guy.
Yeah, I'm a little car guy.
Little
I don't know
cars.
about Forza, but I know with Gran Turismo, like there was just too much in it for me. Like I didn't know what I was doing when I was in the car garage. You know, it was just
You
too
close
much
the
for
doors
me.
and turn it on. And just sit
Yeah,
there.
exactly. You know, like, whenever you're upgrading your cars and stuff, like I didn't know what all this was, and like there was so much that I had to take into effect during a race, like when to turn exactly, or like get behind. I don't know. That's why I never cared a whole lot for Gran Turismo. Not that they're bad games,
Oh yeah,
but
it's just there's a few racing games that I actually enjoy, but overall I don't like most racing games.
Right.
But I mean this is I'm going to speak on everyone's behalf here because I think everyone agrees. Even though we say those, we all play many different genres of games.
Oh,
oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, action, first-person shooter, puzzle, RPG. I mean, what else am I forgetting? Like flight simulators,
Simulation games.
simulation games. I mean,
I play a truck driving simulator game. So
Yeah.
Hey.
Third-person shooters.
X-Wing's the best like simulator like of all time. But
And just so it doesn't sound like I'm dogging racing games, my favorite racing game is not a Mario Kart, believe it or not. Has anyone ever played Jack X Combat
Yes, I
Racing?
remember we'd play that all
That
the time.
that was my favorite racing game of all time, and I loved that game. So I'm not saying I just hate those games straight up.
well, Naughty Dog made that game.
They did, and it was so much fun.
Crash Team Racing was a thing too. And
Yep.
Diddy Kong Racing. It's fun stuff. But anyway, I think that about wraps it up for us. We thank you guys for joining us. We have plenty more to do. We want you guys to check out our YouTube page. Go to our website, sadisticpixel.com. I actually said that correctly that time.
Yay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not statistic pixels.
Yeah, I cannot promise that won't happen in the future.
Yeah,
we thank
sure.
thank you guys for joining us.
As always.
We're all kind of feel kind of rough around the edges today, but we hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. We always do. Thank you for supporting us and follow us, like us. I don't know, all that other social media.
Mumbo jumbo.
Mumbo jumbo.
Drop an email just saying hi for all I
Yeah,
care.
send
Yes.
us some emails.
Right away.
Nothing with a virus in it, please. Thank
Yeah.
you.
We won't open it. We
And I'm going to catch everyone off guard real quick, and I want everyone to wave to the camera and tell them bye.
Bye.
In their own way.
Bye.
Bye. This is my water.
Goodbye.
There we go.
All right, that was good, guys.